Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, and before we dive into this powerful story, make sure you hit that subscribe button and share this video so more people can join the conversation about the future of South Africa. Today we're diving into something that could be the turning point our country has been desperately waiting for, a proposed national dialogue driven by the Eminent Persons Group, a collection of respected figures who believe that if South Africans sit down together, talk honestly, and confront our problems head-on, we can build the country we deserve. And not the broken, divided, and distrustful one we're stuck with today. Let's be real for a second, South Africa is at a crossroads. We've got a struggling economy, political divisions that make unity feel like a dream, rising unemployment that's hitting young people hardest, crime rates that make headlines for all the wrong reasons, and a deep sense that the promise of 1994 has been betrayed somewhere along the way. People are angry, frustrated, and losing hope. But here comes this group of leaders, former judges, political veterans, academics, faith leaders, and respected civil society voices, saying that instead of shouting past each other, it's time we sat down and actually listened to one another. Not in a staged political rally. Not in parliament with scripted speeches. But in a national conversation where everyone has a voice. This national dialogue isn't just about politicians talking to politicians. It's about workers talking to business leaders, communities confronting those in power, young people telling their truth to elders, and yes, even government hearing from those who feel abandoned. The idea is simple but radical. If the nation can actually agree on a vision, we can force the political class to follow it. The Eminent Persons Group says that this isn't about party manifestos or election promises, it's about a new social contract. A shared agreement on what kind of South Africa we want to live in and what we're willing to do to get there. Now, some people are skeptical. They say, we've heard this before. We've had commissions, task forces, summits, and nothing changes. And that's true, South Africans have been burned by too many empty promises. But this initiative is different because it's being led from outside government. These are not people chasing cabinet positions or election votes. They're people with credibility, who have spent years building trust and showing integrity. Their aim is to create a space where even those who feel politically homeless can speak freely without being accused of playing politics. Imagine what it would mean if we could all agree on just a few non-negotiables. Every child in South Africa should have a safe school and proper education. Every community should have police that actually protect them. No one should go to bed hungry. Corruption must have consequences, no matter who you are. And most importantly, no more empty talk. Commitments must come with timelines and accountability. If leaders don't deliver, they get replaced. Simple as that. The Eminent Persons Group says this isn't just a dream, it's possible. They believe South Africans still have the heart and courage to rebuild our country, even after years of disappointment. They point to moments in our history when we were able to do the impossible. The negotiated settlement of the 90s, the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, the way communities came together during disasters, these show that when the nation is united, we can move mountains. But the warning is clear, unity doesn't happen by accident. It has to be worked for, and it has to start now, before divisions become permanent. This dialogue would not shy away from the hard truths. It would put land reform, inequality, crime, education, and government accountability on the table. It would also force us to confront the things we don't like to talk about, the distrust between racial groups, the tensions between locals and migrants, the gap between rich and poor that is one of the worst in the world. Because here's the truth, you cannot heal a wound you refuse to clean. One of the most powerful parts of this proposal is that it gives ordinary South Africans a direct role. Too often, our voices are filtered through politicians, NGOs, or media spin. This would be different, town halls, community forums, and open submissions that go straight into the national plan. And the Eminent Persons Group says they'll push for whatever comes out of these talks to be binding, so it can't just be ignored. That's a big deal. But let's be honest, this is going to face resistance. There are people in power who are very comfortable with the way things are. Corruption has made them rich. Chaos has kept them untouchable. They will do everything they can to discredit this movement, paint it as unrealistic, or simply ignore it. That's why public pressure will be the key. If millions of South Africans stand behind this, the political elite won't be able to sidestep it. And that's exactly why the Eminent Persons Group is calling on everyone, young and old, rural and urban, rich and poor, to be part of the process. The stakes couldn't be higher. If this dialogue succeeds, it could lead to the kind of reforms that fix the broken state and set South Africa on a path to stability and growth. It could mean jobs for young people, safety for families, real accountability for leaders, and an end to the culture of impunity that's been rotting our institutions from the inside. If it fails, the alternative is grim: more instability, more corruption, more violence, and a slow slide into the kind of hopelessness that breaks nations beyond repair. Right now, the choice is in front of us. We can keep complaining about what's wrong, or we can show up and be part of writing the future. The Eminent Persons Group is betting that South Africans still care enough to choose the harder road, the road of dialogue, compromise, and rebuilding. It won't be quick, and it won't be easy. But if it works, we might just look back years from now and say, that was the moment we turned it around. And maybe, just maybe, we'll finally live in the South Africa we've always deserved. Now the question is, will we show up for it, or will we let another opportunity pass us by? Because history is watching, and so are the generations to come.